President approaching a stop in Oregon, we speak exclusively with Republican candidate Governor John Kasich. Plus, a major repavement project is shutting down the Redmond Airport for 3 weeks. And what started as a training exercise turned into a real-life search and rescue effort. Your news starts right now.
Now, from Central Oregon's news leader, this is News Channel 21 at 6.
Hello everyone, I'm Dan McCarthy. Controlled burns continue in Central Oregon. Today, 77 acres were burned off of Highway 242 near Sisters, and residents already noticing a dip in air quality. News Channel 21's Alex Biston joins us with more. Alex?
Dan, Bend residents on top of Pilot Butte this morning watched and smelled as a plume of smoke filled the air just 20 minutes away. And they say they are gearing up for the smoke to stay.
Yeah, definitely taking deeper breaths coming up the hill.
Bend resident Zach Pierce noticed hiking up Pilot Butte is harder than usual.
I smelled the smoke before I started coming up, actually, because it's a little less windier down below. And when I started coming up, I noticed the smoke in the air.
Fire season is right around the corner, meaning smoke from controlled burns is affecting people here in Central Oregon.
And with my little kids, I was concerned about the air quality.
Nick Yonker, the smoke and meteorology manager, says the best way to stay safe from smoke produced by prescribed burns is to try and avoid it.
Best is to stay away from it as much as possible, avoid it as well.
While smoke inhalation is often difficult to avoid, Yonker says these burns are best for the community.
The idea with our forecast is to try to keep the smoke out of the populated areas like Bend.
While a plume of smoke typically lasts 2 to 3 hours, Yonker says the smoldering will sometimes last through the night.
Try to do the best we can to keep it safe for the community air quality wise, but by the same token, do the important job of trying to put fire on the ground in a controlled manner.
Deanna Wall works as a forest fuels program manager for the Deschutes National Forest. She says wind direction plays a main role in controlling prescribed burns.
They're important to containment of the fire that we've put onto the landscape, and they're also really important for transport of the smoke that is created from the fire that we apply.
She says although the smoke is an inconvenience, it is necessary to keep us safe during fire season.
We have to look at it from a standpoint of trade-offs, and when do we want our smoke? Would we like that smoke as a part of a wildfire event that's much less controlled and in more extreme and intense conditions, or would you like your smoke during controlled prescribed fire events? And because fire will happen on this landscape.
Now, officials for the Deschutes National Forest say they will try to do as many prescribed burns as possible until fire season starts in mid-June. Dan, back to you.
Alex Biston joining us in studio tonight. Thank you, Alex. Certainly a warm day across the high desert. Temperatures will be above average tomorrow, but Emily Kirk says showers are on the way this week. She joins us now with a first look at our local alert weather. Emily?
Dan, this evening, even looking like the chance for some showers out there, but the key word there is looking like the chance. These heavy clouds producing some sprinkles, but not really enough to be hitting the ground. So no heavy downpours expected this evening, although we are seeing some showers move up from the south, partly cloudy skies increasing as well, and rumbles of thunder expected across the Cascades tonight, but not moving any further east. So our temperatures very warm for this time of year. We're in the upper 70s in the Bend area. 78 is the current temperature, 76 for Redmond, 72 and 70 degrees farther south. So you can see a wide range of temperatures, but tonight will all be above average for overnight lows, and once again tomorrow. But like you mentioned, showers are on the way. I've got your details coming up in just a little bit. For now, I'll send it back to you.
All right, Emily, thanks. We'll see you then. A Bend man is recovering from chest and back injuries he suffered during a 55-foot jump into the blue pool of the Cascades. Lynn County sheriffs say 37-year-old John Frank hiked 2 miles to Tamalich Falls on Sunday with his wife and his daughter. After he was hurt, his wife, who is a registered nurse, helped him to shore, giving him first aid. It took until about midnight for an Army National Guard helicopter to reach him, taking him to St. Charles Bend. He was in stable condition as of midnight last night. Today, the Redmond Airport shut down to air travelers, and for the next 3 weeks, the airport will be going through a major repaving project. And for as long as that seems, it pales in comparison for how long it's been in the works. Laura Martinez joins us live in front of the airport. Laura, when did construction actually start?
Dan, construction started last year on the runway, which is considered phase 1. And this past March, an in-depth repavement project started, which is phase 2. For the next 21 days, they'll literally be working from the ground up. Construction is underway, pouring, repaving, and measuring.
This is a very time and labor intensive project with a complete reconstruction.
Spokeswoman Nicole Jurgensen took us out Monday afternoon to see this project. The runways form the shape of an X, and the heart of that intersection is being re-engineered and upgraded. But the move requires grounding all air travel for at least 3 weeks.
We didn't want to impact the region too greatly in the summer when everybody's busy. It's still busy. It's never a good time.
Everything is being removed from the paved surface and more. Rewiring lights, filling in cement cracks, and installing a new security system. And by repaving the primary runway to meet FAA standards now, by the time the secondary runway ends its pavement life, the airfield will not need to be shut down. For now, this construction is at full throttle.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week to get this work done just as quickly as possible.
And those on the airport team know it's a major inconvenience for travelers, but a must for the airport.
It's one of those projects that has to get done, and we're looking forward to it getting done and completed and getting back in operation. That's going to be a fun day.
Just in case things don't go planned accordingly, there's some buffer time within those 3 weeks. Now, construction will continue throughout summer for one of the runways, but that will not affect air travel. Live at the Redmond Airport, Lauren Martinez, News Channel 21.
All right, Lauren, thanks. And due to the airport closure, several law enforcement agencies and responders are taking part in an active shooter drill at the airport. Emergency Manager Nathan Garraby says these week-long drills involve several agencies from Central Oregon, all working on how to respond to an active threat. Garraby says law enforcement and firefighters, they're working and training together this week, and that's something they don't do very often.
We had an opportunity at the airport to have the facility kind of to ourselves for the most part. And, you know, it's a pretty important facility within Central Oregon. And so it's a great opportunity for us to get to know the layout of the airport, to work together and to be able to have kind of just a real diverse training environment for our responders.
This drill is going to continue through Thursday, and next week, News Channel 21 will have a special report on what to do if there's an active shooter at your business. It's a constant fear we have, a stolen identity. And with the growth of technology, it's something that's becoming more and more possible. Danny Freed and Alex Piston have been working on a two-part story, investigating the different ways that it could happen to you. Danny joins us now. Danny, what are some of the ways that your identity could be stolen?
Dan, believe it or not, with the constant use of our cell phones and our ability to be constantly connected to social media, our identity is much more accessible to predators. Now, many people forget that Facebook, email, and your cell phone can be easy ways for people to get to you. Also, your credit card can be a huge factor of identity fraud. We spoke with Captain Paul Garrison from the Deschutes County Sheriff's Office, and he says there's definitely been a spike in identity theft even in the past 2 years.
And particularly the age group of 65 and older has gone up from 2012 to 2014, 500,000. And that's pretty large. I would probably attribute that to the fact that more and more people are involved with internet, social media. That type of information is out there and available.
On Thursday, our own Alex Biston will continue this report and tell you about ways you can prevent yourself from getting hacked, along with what to do if it happens to you. And make sure to tune in the next half hour for my in-depth report, Identity Theft, Keep Yourself Safe, to learn all the ways you could be at risk. Dan?
Danny Freed joining us. Thanks. We will see you then. And when we come back, will we see sunny skies in the coming days? Emily has our full forecast, plus an exclusive interview with presidential hopeful John Kasich. Stay with us.
Get ready for a new modern approach to exercise. Back in Action has the latest fitness technology that will intrigue your body and mind. State-of-the-art fitness equipment available now, or choose from their selection of quality used equipment. Back in Action Fitness Equipment. Fitness for life.
We're human beings, and one thing that is a constant is our need to be in community with other people.
What we saw here was a way of life that we thought we would enjoy, an opportunity to re-engage in a lot of things that maybe we weren't doing any longer.
What we see a retirement community as is the emphasis is on community.
We have found some really nice people here.
This is a fun place.
Touchmark is a place where people can really draw together. At Touchmark, it's the people.
Why do some homes sell fast for top dollar while others don't sell at all? I'm Barbara Corcoran, and after building the #1 brokerage firm in New York City, I learned one thing: hire the real estate agent with the best marketing strategy.
In Bend, I would hire Jim Bertola and Ruben Garman. They attract hundreds of buyers every week and create so much demand, Jim and Ruben can guarantee to sell your home.
Partner with the team I trust. Go online or call and get your home sold.
There's just one way to improve taco night. A practically spill-proof crust. Practically. Spice up dinner with a large home-baked Papa Murphy's Taco Grande. Your choice of ground beef or grilled chicken, just $11. Order online at papamurphys.com. Papa Murphy's, love at 425 degrees.
Find the latest technology at Back in Action Fitness Equipment. Zero impact running. Octane Zero Runner replicates your body's natural movement. Enhance your cardio experience with interactive video and web-based systems. Back in Action Fitness Equipment. Fitness for life.
The local alert weather forecast is brought to you by Central Oregon Heating and Cooling. Now, Central Oregon's local alert weather with Emily Kirk.
This morning, as you heard from Alex, we certainly started with some smoke in low-lying elevations. This was a look from Bend this morning, pointed off towards the east about 6 o'clock. You can already see that smoke forming. And then as we went through the morning, actually saw it lift a little bit by 8 o'clock this morning, still with us. Then the winds came through and blew that smoke out of our area. This afternoon, seeing partly cloudy skies rolling in, but by lunchtime, we were still seeing sunny skies overhead. And then those clouds pushed in from the south, and that's where we're about at this evening. They're actually starting to increase as well just ahead of the sunset, and we'll keep cloudy conditions moving forward as it all increases up from the south once again. Same pattern we've been seeing for the past couple of weeks. Also bringing some scattered showers from the south too, and possibility of some thunderstorms, especially for the Willamette Valley. Central Oregon, our chance is looking very slight at that. Anything will really just be kept to the Cascades and west of that. But tomorrow and Wednesday, we do have a better shot of some thunderstorm activity here in Central Oregon. Your almanac for this time of year, we should be at about 64 degrees at Roberts Field in Redmond. We got up to 78 today, so a very warm day. Hot at times if you were in the direct sunlight, especially with all that sunshine overhead by about noon. It got up pretty warm today. Average overnight lows about 32 degrees, which is the freezing mark. We were just slightly above that last night. This evening, we'll be way above it. It's going to be a very mild night ahead. Here's your hourly forecast if you're headed out this evening. Nice night by 7 o'clock. Winds out of the west about 10 miles per hour. So very comfortable. Temperatures falling into the low 70s. By 9 o'clock, partly cloudy skies. Winds nice and light. Temperatures mid 60s. And by 11 o'clock, we're still in the upper 50s. So we've got a very mild night ahead. Here's your satellite and radar showing the ridge of high pressure clearly defined just off the coast, keeping most of the activity up towards our north with the jet stream. But we do have some unstable air just to our south, and that'll what's going to be bringing the thunderstorms on up from California over the next 48 hours. We're still going to deal with this instability in the atmosphere because this afternoon already starting to see those spotty thunderstorms east of Roseburg currently, and that'll all lift on up towards the north, especially through the valley. By midnight tonight, we do have a chance for some rumbles in the Cascades, but a pretty slight chance at that. Pretty quiet overnight tonight. Into tomorrow morning, we'll watch clouds increase. Here's 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Spotty showers moving up from the south. Those will lift on up towards the north. So a very slight chance at spotted showers at that. Most of the activity is west of the Cascades for Tuesday, but Wednesday, more activities on the way for us. Our temperatures tomorrow, though, very comfortable, still in the 70s, still way above average, as well as overnight lows in the low 40s overnight tonight. Very comfortable out there. Temperatures mid-70s for Redmond as well as Powell Butte tomorrow. Warm Springs, Maupin, upper 70s. Could see some lower 80s in Wasco County. So here's Tuesday, still in the mid-70s, nice and comfortable. Wednesday, big dip in the temperatures into the mid-60s, cloudy overhead as well as scattered showers all day. We'll keep that through the morning hours on Thursday into the afternoon, but Thursday afternoon, evening, things start to really clear out. Our temperatures up into the upper 60s by Friday, and this weekend we're warm in the mid-70s. That's been a look at your weather. Let's check out your snow report for tonight.
Your local alert weather snow report brought to you by Les Schwab Tire Centers.
No new snow to report, and snow levels up above 9,000 feet through Wednesday. We're taking a quick break. We're back right after this.
When my asthma flared up?
When my cough kept me off the course?
When they needed care quickly?
BMC Urgent Care was there.
With their doctors and physician assistants? I can get the right care right now.
Even nights and weekends, no appointment necessary.
That's why I love my doc.
With grilling season upon us, Fireside in Bend has the most grills on display in Central Oregon. Get free assembly and free delivery with your purchase. Shop U.S.-made brands like Weber and Twin Eagles at Fireside in Bend and online at bendfireside.com.
Let me introduce to you the Williams family. They've been dreaming about building a new home to replace their manufactured home, so they called Highline Homes, an affordable custom home building company that has negotiated exclusive 100% financing. Now the Williams have a beautiful new home built on their own land. Get information at one of Highline Homes' model home centers or online at highlinehomes.com.
Highline Homes. On your lot, on time, built right.
Upgrade your outdoor living space for the summer with U.S.-made patio furniture from Fireside. Get free setup and free delivery of brands like Telescope Casual, Meadowcraft, and more. Shop patio furniture at Fireside in Bend and online at bendfireside.com.
Watch Big Ol' Fish, Thursdays on News Channel 21. Submit your photo to sports@ktvz.com. Brought to you by Highline Homes. On your lot, on time, built right.
Tonight and tomorrow, every one of these artists blows my mind. Watch live, vote live, and be a part of the biggest live event on television.
That was phenomenal. You're out of this world.
The Voice Live, tonight and tomorrow on NBC.
Tonight, she's innocent but full of secrets.
An exact match with one of Jane's tattoos. These look like the pictures you draw.
How are the answers to Jane's tattoos in the hands of a child? New Blind Spot, tonight after The Voice on NBC.
News Channel 21 is brought to you in part by The Brace Place.
A hot topic moved towards a grand finale today. The question, should marijuana operations be legal in rural areas of Deschutes County? Wanda Moore was at the final public hearing on the topic. She joins us now. Wanda, how did it go?
Well, Dan, it was a packed house. Both supporters and opponents of recreational cannabis gave testimony. It remains a controversial issue in Central Oregon. They're popping up like weed. Cannabis businesses are rolling out on the high desert.
We saw a pretty good ramp up of applications, a lot of activity.
Bend has 24 dispensaries and 11 medical dispensaries have applied to convert to recreational ones.
This might just be kind of the flash in the pan moment. This is still a new industry.
An industry so new, rules and regulations are still hazy. Deschutes County might opt out of recreational cannabis growing operations in rural areas. A decision that's highly debated.
Continuing the opt-out, we suffer the negative consequences of lack of regulation, unsafe processing, untested products.
For Lindsay Pate, CEO of Glass House Grown, a family-run cannabis farm, the opt-out would be devastating.
This opt-out has been incredibly hard for my family. It's been a burden.
Those who want the county to opt out say cannabis comes with nuisances.
Last summer, driving on Highway 20,
through the Tumalo neighborhood, you can smell the skunk smell.
Others talked about the impact on property values.
I think that could have a real chilling effect on the economic growth and vitality.
Supporters claim to have economic impact on their side. The state collected over $3 million in taxes from recreational cannabis in its first month alone. 40% of it goes to the Common School Fund. But if the county decides to opt out, they would not get any of the tax revenue.
Very awkward situations as elected commissioners.
A hot topic.
You don't get to revote when things don't go your way.
Even a year after Measure 91 passed. Now, Bend City councilors wrote a letter to the Deschutes County commissioners urging them not to opt out. And Deschutes County commissioners say they will start deliberating on Wednesday. Dan, back to you.
Wanda Moore joining us from our newsroom. Wanda, thank you. Republican presidential candidate John Kasich is back in Ohio after his visit to Oregon. But this afternoon, he took the time to speak with News Channel 21 about his visit and the legalization of marijuana. On the phone, the Ohio governor was adamantly against legalizing marijuana. I asked if Oregon's financial success from the industry has changed his perspective at all, but he stood firm on his beliefs that the industry is a gateway to more dangerous drugs for children.
I mean, the people of Oregon made that decision. I profoundly disagree with it. You need to have a clear message to kids about drugs, and when you say, well, some are okay and the others aren't, I think it's confusing, but Oregon has acted, and you'll just have to figure out what you're going to do to keep kids from getting to some of these extremely serious drugs.
Coming up later on in our show, we have the latest poll results out of a Portland poll on the 3 Republican candidates for president. We'll have Governor Kasich's reaction to those numbers later on in our show. Coming up in sports, some scary moments in Talladega as multiple drivers are sent to the hospital after a crash. And the Chicago Cubs, yeah, they have the best record in baseball, so apparently that means they can wear whatever they want. Stay with us.
If your legs have swelling, ache, or discoloration, you may have a vein disorder. At Inovia, we treat varicose veins with minimally invasive techniques in a comfortable outpatient environment. Board-certified surgeons Edward Boyle and Andrew Jones are experts in the management and treatment of venous disease. Our patients trust us to treat their vein problems and educate them about potentially dangerous leg blood clots. And we have a fully accredited vascular diagnostic laboratory. Start healing your vein problems today at Inovia.
For LASIK in Bend, there is a difference. In Focus Eye Care. Now you can enhance your active lifestyle by getting rid of glasses and contacts. In Focus is home to Bend's only fixed-site LASIK system. All laser bladeless LASIK is the safest and most accurate available. Local surgeons Ida Alul and Patricia Bueller provide expert personal care. Learn how LASIK can change your life. Your lens-free lifestyle could be just around the bend. In Focus Eye Care.
Make today your new car day at Robertson Ford.
And now, News Channel 21 Sports.
So, how does one get rewarded by notching a second career playoff triple-double? If your name's Draymond Green, then you get rewarded with a McDonald's coupon. Yeah, during a Golden State Warriors timeout Sunday at Oracle Arena, coupons for McDonald's French fries found their way to the All-Star forward. The floating McDonald's coupons, it's part of Oracle Arena's in-house promotion. But one still has to wonder if Draymond will get any more McDonald's goodies on Tuesday if he can help his team go up 2-0 against the Trailblazers. Sunday's Sprint Cup race at Talladega surely delivered on excitement. Just after the officials signaled that the race was halfway through lap 96, Austin Dillon turned into David Gilliland. Multiple drivers were involved, but Chris Boucher got the worst of it. He flips upside down the backstretch and then lands on his wheels. All of the drivers were taken to the infield care center and released. The NHL has suspended Washington Capitals defenseman Brooks Orpik 3 games for a hit during last night's game of the Eastern Conference semifinals. Watch as Orpik trails Olli Mata and delivers a crushing blow to the defenseman as he turns around. Here's another look at it. Orpik's left shoulder clearly connects with Mata's head, and that caused him to go flailing to the ground. And now he's left riding the pine for 3 games as the Capitals look to make it out of the second round. They're actually playing right now. The Chicago Cubs have the best record in baseball, so apparently that means they can wear whatever they want. The Cubbies were seen wearing some unique formal wear as they embarked on a 10-game trek away from the friendly confines of Wrigley Field. It's called the Minimalist Zany Suit Trip for the NL Central leading ball club. Players donning everything from plaid 3-piece suits to picture Clayton Richards' version of Batman's nemesis, the Riddler. Let's get a look at that if we can. There he is. Everyone getting in on the action, despite the fact that the Cubs lost in extra innings to the Braves on Sunday. When we come back, a movie sequel is off to a great start at the box office. We have your entertainment news next. And later, a training drill turned into a real-life search and rescue over the weekend. That story coming up.
For almost 40 years, Severson Plumbing has kept Central Oregon leak-free and flowing smoothly. The team is ready to tackle any plumbing issue you have.
We respect your home and property, and we always wear our blue booties.
From faucet drips to new construction, Severson Plumbing has the experience to get the job done right. We also feature Bradford White water heaters.
With flat rate pricing, the quote you get is the price you pay for the job.
Severson Plumbing, talented employees, valued work, trusted family, just like George.
Planning for retirement? You need a trusted advisor to guide you through this tricky financial landscape. At Elevation Capital Strategies, we look at what your specific needs are, what you hope to do, and what you'd like to give in order to develop a plan to ensure you continue to receive income throughout retirement and beyond. Our focus has always been to help people take a lifetime of working, saving, investing, and planning and make it work for the next stage of life. To find out how we can help, visit elevationcapitalstrategies.com.
Deschutes Dermatology introduces a breakthrough procedure that helps you feel cleaner and more confident. Miradry.
If you want to stop underarm sweat and get rid of your antiperspirant, this is the procedure for you. Miradry is an FDA-cleared technology that uses targeted energy to safely eliminate sweat and odor glands. Miradry is effective on both men and women. It's painless, non-invasive, with no downtime, and best of all, permanent results. Call Deschutes Dermatology today to see if Miradry is right for you.
When you least expect it, crooks may be stealing your identity. How your sensitive personal information could be at risk.
I believe there's 17 million cases of identity theft reported.
Minimize your chances of being a victim of identity theft. News Channel 21 investigates identity theft trends and what to do if it happens to you. A 2-part series, May 2nd and 5th at 6 p.m. on News Channel 21.
Rick Damigella has our Hollywood Minute.
I know we're not perfect, but the safest hands are still our own.
Captain America: Civil War is topping the box office overseas ahead of its U.S. debut this week. The Hollywood Reporter says Civil War had a $200.2 million opening this weekend at the overseas box office. The movie began opening in 63% of film markets on April 27th and will hit movie screens in the U.S., China, and Russia this weekend.
This entire facility is designed to keep you safe.
Production on the third Maze Runner movie has been halted indefinitely. Variety says 20th Century Fox has delayed principal photography of Maze Runner: The Death Cure to allow star Dylan O'Brien additional time to heal following an onset injury. The film is the follow-up to 2015's Maze Runner: The Scorch Trials.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Oh, did you want to?
Sorry, I'll let you.
Next time.
The upcoming Ghostbusters movie has earned a dubious distinction. The Hollywood Reporter notes the trailer released on March 3rd has received more than 500,000 dislikes from YouTube viewers. That ranks the Ghostbusters preview as the most disliked movie trailer ever and the 23rd most disliked video overall on YouTube. Ghostbusters hits theaters on July 15th. For Hollywood Minute, I'm Rick Damigella.
On the topic of movies, you know what I saw this weekend? I saw Purple Rain at the drive-in theater.
Oh, right.
Yes.
No, that's a great one.
Yes, an interesting film, and I see you're wearing purple just for the occasion.
Well, yes, of course. It's because you told me you saw Purple Rain.
Yes, exactly. All right, we're taking a quick break. We're back after this.
Closed captioning provided by Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries.
300 days of sunshine in Central Oregon. Enjoy them on a new deck from Bend Fence and Deck.
Bend Fence and Deck. We build quality decks that last.
Fences, siding, window replacement, and outdoor kitchens. Create a backyard oasis. Visit BendFenceandDeck.com. Much more than just fencing.
Richard follows his bliss at 5:30 p.m. every day with some fancy timekeeping. It's just him and the boys. It's Selco Community Credit Union. Our bliss is serving Richard, so when he needs a loan, auto, home, or business, he'll find the best financing options to fit his needs. Keep it up, Richard, and you just might make the band. Selco Community Credit Union. Live a good life.
Providing quality care for all is at the heart of the Mosaic Medical mission.
Everybody is special, everybody is individual, and so we approach it that way.
Patients aren't just a number on a chart.
You want to be seen as a human being. You want to be seen as a person.
Mosaic means the world to me.
What's unique in a community health center is that we find ways to take care of people because they need it and deserve it.
With clinics in Bend, Redmond, Madras, and Prineville, Mosaic Medical provides quality care for all.
Be the envy of your neighbors with a new custom fence from Bend Fence and Deck.
At Bend Fence and Deck, your satisfaction is our priority.
Deck, siding, window replacement, and outdoor kitchens. Create a backyard oasis. Visit BendFenceandDeck.com. Much more than just fencing.
Now, from Central Oregon's news leader, this is News Channel 21 at 6.
And welcome back. I'm Dan McCarthy. Deschutes County Search and Rescue plays a vital role in Central Oregon. Made just from volunteers, the team had a mock mission on Smith Rock involving the search for a lost father and daughter. But they were put up to a real test immediately after that. News Channel 21's Pedro Quintana has more.
Search and rescue volunteers are looking for lost hikers in the Tumalo area. Every minute is crucial.
We have to adapt, and the teams have to adapt and find them.
More than 50 volunteers separated into 6 teams, including a medical team, to help find a missing father and daughter who got lost in the area overnight. The teams covering over 1,000 acres looking for clues on where they could be.
And they're looking for the simple foot track, which in an area like this, which we get called to many times, highly recreated area, so we have to try and determine, okay, is this a normal foot track from a previous recreator, or is this something that they need to hone in on?
Communication between the searchers and command posts is highly critical at finding those lost hikers.
In terms of both searcher safety as well as coordination, to be able to talk to each other, to coordinate. There's a lot of moving pieces, and to be able to coordinate and to call back in clues and to get new directions is crucial, and we rely on the technology for that.
This past weekend, search and rescue volunteers did not only train, but rescued a Portland woman who was injured on a trail at Smith Rock on Saturday. They were also called out to help 3 Bend residents. Their 2 vehicles became stuck in deep snow on a Forest Service road west of Bend. The Deschutes County Sheriff's Search and Rescue team says it evaluates every scenario before deploying the team.
Time that they've been out in the elements, obviously the temperatures that they were exposed to last night, it got to freezing temperatures last night, so that would play into it. Age, obviously, physical condition, how they're clothed, is there any medical portions of this? Are any of them suffering from medical conditions?
Lieutenant Brian Husband says rescues happen year-round in every type of weather condition.
Over 100 missions a year we average. From rescues, someone who was hurt, to just lost subjects. Yeah, there's a lot of different situations that our folks train towards every day.
In Tumalo, Pedro Quintana, News Channel 21.
And as Pedro mentioned, 3 Bend men and their 2 dogs had to be rescued after their vehicles were stuck in deep snow early Sunday morning. Timothy Price, Ron Wilson, and Jason Johnson were on a closed Forest Service road west of Bend when they got stuck. Sheriff's deputies were called at around 1:25 a.m. and by 8:45, officials reached the men on tracked quads. Officials are hopeful that this serves as a reminder to the public that traveling on closed forest roads can be dangerous and lead to citations or costly towing bills. 3 Oregon lawmakers have been hit with an ethics complaint filed by environmentalists who argue that they broke state law by deliberately misrepresenting the so-called wolf delisting bill. The Oregon Court of Appeals cited the bill last month, when tossing out a lawsuit filed by environmentalists trying to reverse a state decision to remove the gray wolf from the endangered species list. The ethics complaint says the lawmakers in February repeatedly denied that the bill's purpose was to intervene in the courtroom. Now, identity theft has been something that's been on everyone's mind with the recent increase in technology. Our own Danny Freed joining us in studio now. Danny, you and Alex Piston have been working on a special report, an investigative one, on the different ways that identity theft can harm people, correct?
Yeah, Dan, that's right. And after speaking with multiple different sources, we have come to the conclusion that in this day and age, it really can happen to almost anyone.
Of all the people in Central Oregon, of all the people around the globe, it's hard to believe it could happen to you.
Overall, I believe there's 17 million cases of identity theft reported in 2014. That was up by 2 million from the previous reported year.
The reason? Technology. Making your information vulnerable to cyber predators.
Individuals are more likely to experience this just in their day-to-day activities across the internet, whether it be with your phone or with your home computer.
And even with the most up-to-date security, there are still plenty of ways cyber attackers can get to you.
Now, instead of going out and robbing a bank, people can sit in their home and, be drinking Mountain Dew and eating Cheetos and on their keyboards and getting people's information and doing stuff with it.
Our online lifestyle is a hacker's delight, with the primary offense being internet phishing.
When your password or a security question is addressed as being your mother's maiden name, oftentimes that kind of information can be gleaned from your Facebook account or some other type of social media.
According to digital forensics detective Zach Neiman, phishing scams can take many forms and may be difficult to identify.
The most common ones are when people send you text messages that say from your bank and they need some verification, or click on this link here, send you an email and say, I'm your healthcare provider. We need your social security number to verify your account.
The key is to be able to identify those phishing schemes. Look out for unfamiliar emails and be careful who you give your information out to. If you're not sure if an email or text is legitimate or not, call the company and ask.
There's also the phone calls from individuals that are calling for that same type of a solicitation of information, whether it be your name and date of birth or social security number.
Another method? Tax scams, where people will call and ask for personal information after claiming they're from the IRS. But there are other phone scams people are unaware of.
Previously, we've had scams such as folks calling in to discuss that a relative is in a nearby jail, so we need to have money placed on their books, so therefore go and acquire a Visa card and give us the numbers.
However, the most dangerous scams are ones that could affect your bank account.
The big ones that concern us more are the higher level data breaches where we have to replace, hundreds or thousands of members' cards because we get notified that their information has been, compromised.
Our connected world means connected bank accounts.
Online is the #1 way that people access and utilize credit card information.
And when it comes to the bank's costs, well, it's not cheap.
It's in the tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars.
But the bottom line is, if you want to be safe and remain a face in the crowd, you just gotta be smart.
So who knew hackers had that many ways to get to you, right?
It's incredible to think about, and the obvious question that follows this is how do we make sure that we're protected?
Absolutely. Well, and that is something that we will actually have Alex Piston answer
on
Thursday. She will be coming in to tell you exactly what to do to make sure you're staying safe, as well as what you can do just in case it does happen. So she will join us on Thursday for that story.
All right, and this is Danny Freed, no identity swap up here, joining us.
Not yet.
In studio. Thank you very much. All right, let's turn to our forecast now. Emily Kirk has more.
Well, Dan and Danny, temperatures still this evening very warm. We're in the upper 70s in Bend, as well as mid 70s for the Redmond area, lower 70s for Sun River and LaPine, and upper 70s to low 80s for Jefferson County. So a very warm day, to say the least. We were way above average for this time of year. Had sunshine with us for most of the day. Now we're starting to see partly cloudy skies roll in to mostly cloudy. Actually, an overnight tonight cloud cover going to help keep us very mild through the overnight hours. Clouds moving up from the south, also creating some spotty showers for Jefferson County, but these showers really aren't going to be hitting the ground because it is so warm and the system is fairly weak. This evening we'll see increasing clouds through sunset tonight. Temperatures will be in the upper 60s by that time, so very comfortable outside. Great night for a walk out there. Winds out of the west about 5 to 10 miles per hour through the overnight hours tonight, but tomorrow we are expecting some showers on the way. I've got your details coming up in just a few minutes. For now, Dan, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Emily, thanks. We'll see you then. The project to replace the Farewell Bend Bridge over the Deschutes River starts on May 9th. The bridge will close a week from today. The Bend Park and Rec District determined that the decades-old footbridge is not structurally safe and needs replacement. Temporary trail closures and detours will be in place. Foot and bike traffic can use the Bill Healy, Columbia Street, and Old Mill bridges. Also, there will be intermittent closures of the river during demolition of the old bridge and installation of the new one. It was an unforgettable prom for one Bend High School student on Saturday. A senior with special needs is not letting her disability stop her from celebrating her last high school dance. News Channel 21's Pedro Quintana has more.
It's one of the most magical days of any girl's life.
I feel like an art project. You are.
Through high school prom.
She mentioned that she had never been to a high school dance, and so I told her, I said, you know, prom's just, you know, right around the corner.
Samantha Jackson did not take any time on deciding if she wanted to go.
It's like, I think we could make it happen if that's something you'd want to do.
School staff got her a dress and went over to her house to help her get ready for the night.
I feel pretty. You are pretty.
Jackson has special needs, but that's not stopping this teenage girl from feeling like a warrior princess.
Oh, I know how Katniss Everdeen from the Hunger Games feels.
And her date, who she met while participating in the Special Olympics, was taken back by her beauty.
Best thing I've ever seen.
Walking hand by hand, the couple enjoyed a special night out downtown.
Thank you, Chad.
For senior Samantha Jackson, it was the time of her life. For the high school staff, it's about their students feeling like royalty for a night.
This is a reward. This is our reward, to be able to give back and to do something like that for the kids. So that's what it means, you know, it's huge.
In Bend, Pedro Quintana, News Channel 21.
What a way to start our week, huh? All right, when we come back, Emily Kirk has another check on our work week forecast. Plus, the Indiana primaries just a day away, and the race for the White House more intense than ever. Stay with us.
Endless prawns are back now at McGrath's Fish House. Indulge your craving with endless refills of 4 different kinds of prawns, all for just $14.99. Enjoy them all now for a limited time. Endless prawns, just $14.99, only at McGrath's Fish House.
Your cargo means a great deal. The things you put in your car are a reflection of you. It says a lot about your passions, your adventures, and your to-do list. That's why we help you find a car, truck, or SUV that fits your budget and your things. But more importantly, we help you find one that fits you. Kendall, let's start something great.
Your spring projects are affordable when you team up with your local John Deere dealer, Pape Machinery, Ag and Turf. Mow it, move it, and ride it with our best offers ever. 0 down payment and 0 interest for 5 years gives you the legendary John Deere compact utility tractor you've always wanted. And our new 10-year warranty is the best in the industry. Family owned for over 75 years, Pape delivers affordability, value, and service. Open Monday through Saturday. Pape Machinery keeps you moving.
It's a busy day, gotta get on your way. We're here when you need us, a great reflection on you in Mirror Pond. That's why we say, in by noon, out by 5, looking your best, feeling alive. Mirror Pond Cleaners, Mirror Pond, making it easy for you.
It's the perfect time to feed your craving for prawns at McGrath's Fish House with endless prawns. Your choice of 4 variations for just $14.99, or enjoy a selection of shrimp lunches for just $7.99. Now at Pacific Northwest Fresh, McGrath's Fish House.
The local alert weather forecast is brought to you by Central Oregon Heating and Cooling. Now, Central Oregon's local alert weather with Emily Kirk.
Well, this morning certainly started with blue skies out there. However, some smoke in low-lying elevations as well. That's from all those prescribed burns that we saw this morning, and really kept the smoke with us through about 8 o'clock. Then you see the smoke start to lift, and as the winds picked up this morning, that smoke blew out of our skies, and then we did see sunny skies about lunchtime today. Shortly thereafter, that's when those clouds started arriving and really increasing through this evening. Also seeing some heavier clouds push through. However, not really packing a punch when it comes to rain tonight. Will be pretty dry. Satellite and radar showing those showers moving on up from the south. Same pattern we saw last week. Spottier showers for Klamath County. But this system is actually tracking towards the west. So a lot of the activity is going to be on the western slopes of the Cascades. So Rogue, Umpqua valleys up through southern Willamette Valley. We'll see those thunderstorms this afternoon. We could hear some rumbles in the Cascades ourselves, but all the activity really going to be kept to the west side of the state for tonight. Your almanac for this time of year showing us we should be at about 64 degrees for daytime highs. We got up to the upper 70s today, so a very warm day across central Oregon. It will be pretty warm overnight tonight. Last night we hovered around average in the lower 30s. This evening we'll be in the mid to upper 40s, so very mild moving forward. So by 7 o'clock, still very nice outside. Partly cloudy skies, temperatures low 70s, perfect for a walk this evening. By 9 o'clock, after the sun sets, we'll be dealing with partly cloudy skies, and things will be in the mid 60s, so very comfortable as well. And by midnight tonight, still in the upper 50s, and increasing clouds will continue through the evening tonight into tomorrow morning. Satellite and radar want to show you the the ridge of high pressure. Sorry about the blip in the radar there. Also the unstable air to our south. That's what's ushering these showers up from California, as well as the increase in cloud cover. So you can already see that with thunderstorms east of Roseburg this evening. But east of the Cascades, things are pretty quiet. This evening, our best chance for hearing those rumbles in the Cascades about 12:30 at night tonight. And then through tomorrow morning, things continue to lift on up to the north, so fairly quiet overnight tonight. Into tomorrow morning, then that's where things get interesting. Partly cloudy skies, and then by 2 o'clock, pretty good chance for some scattered showers, but those will be pretty brief and lift on up towards the north. And you can see once again, a lot of the activity is kept for the Willamette Valley for Tuesday. Wednesday is a different story across central Oregon. Before tonight, like I mentioned, very mild. We're in the low 40s for Sun River and Lapine. Partly cloudy skies to mostly cloudy overnight tonight. Other places are going to be in the mid 40s, so very mild for this evening. Tomorrow, temperatures slightly cooler than we were today, just by a few degrees, still way above average for this time of year. Low 70s for the Bend area, Redmond getting into the mid 70s tomorrow. Warm Springs, Madras, you'll be in the upper 70s with spotty showers. Afternoon tomorrow is our best chance for that on Tuesday. So by Wednesday, a pretty good shot, seeing widespread scattered showers all day long. That lingers into Thursday afternoon, and then that's where things start to calm down and really warm up. Upper 60s by Friday, mostly cloudy skies. This weekend for Mom's Day, hoping we can keep temperatures nice and warm for Mom then on Sunday with temperatures in the upper 70s. That's been a look at your weather. Let's check out your snow report for tonight.
Your local weather snow report brought to you by Les Schwab Tire Centers.
No new snow to report across the board. Snow levels staying above 9,000 feet through the end of this week. That's been a look at your weather. We're back right after this.
Here's what's on NBC Primetime tonight, brought to you by Powder House, your ski and snowboard headquarters.
Get set to save now at your local Kubota dealer. Take on the tough jobs in a tractor you'll be proud to own. A powerful Kubota Standard L Series. With the right combination of dependable horsepower, high-quality construction, and ease of operation, they're perfect for the independent property owner. Now get financing as low as 0% APR for up to 5 years. See your local Kubota dealer today.
Visit your local Kubota dealer, nwkubotadealers.com, or visit Midstate Power Products.
From driveways to highways and racetracks to airports, High Desert Aggregate and Paving is highly skilled in all phases of construction, from small residential driveways to large-scale highway projects. Locally owned and operated in Central Oregon since 2002, the folks at High Desert Aggregate are the most experienced in the business. From concept to completion, High Desert Aggregate and Paving does it all. Visit us online at highdesertaggregate.com or give us a call for your free estimate at 504-8566.
Ellen's all new all week with Pink, Cameron Diaz, and next Ellen, the legendary Jane Fonda. Last time she was here,
Never have I ever joined the Mile High Club.
we really got to know her.
Never have I ever made out with someone half my age.
What secrets will we learn this time?
I feel better since I announced my secret to the world. By now, everyone knows. Real, fake.
On News Channel 21 at 4.
Republican presidential candidate John Kasich is back in Ohio after his visit to Oregon. But this afternoon, he took the time to speak on the phone with News Channel 21 about his visit. A poll of about 500 primary voters by a Hoffman Research Group in Portland found that 43% favor Donald Trump. Senator Ted Cruz is second at 26%, and Kasich finished third at 17%. I asked Governor Kasich about the poll numbers today.
Well, I don't pay any attention to polls. I just do the best I can. And look, the message is real simple. We need economic growth. I've done it in Washington. I've done it in Ohio. You know, if all of us live a life a little bigger than ourselves, it'll bring more success to our communities, our neighborhoods, and that's what the spirit of the country is really all about.
The Oregon primary is on May 17th. Watch News Channel 21 all month long for the best election coverage in Central Oregon. And another big name in politics is headed to Bend. On Thursday, May 5th, President Bill Clinton will be campaigning for his wife, Hillary Clinton, in Bend and Portland. President Clinton will discuss Hillary Clinton's plans to raise income and help Oregon families. The specific time and location of his visit will be announced later on. In the Republican race for the White House, the last chance to stop Donald Trump just might be tomorrow in Indiana. Steve Handelsman has the latest.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. Mr. Trump. Donald Trump in Indiana, where tomorrow he vows to kill off his competition and pivot to the general election.
I would like to get on to Hillary. You know, we've beaten all of these folks, and Indiana is very important because if I win, that's the end of it.
Only Ted Cruz is campaigning here against Trump, vowing not to quit.
I am in for the distance. As long as we have a viable path to victory, I am competing to the end.
But Trump leads Cruz by 15 in the latest NBC News Wall Street Journal Marist poll, despite Cruz naming Carly Fiorina his running mate.
I'm a little more interested in Cruz's campaign now because Carly's got a good finance background.
Some voters saw Fiorina today but were thinking Trump.
What I love about Donald Trump is that he has created a great awakening.
Is Trump the inevitable nominee if Cruz Fiorina lose tomorrow? Is he?
False, but you know, the conventional wisdom has been wrong every step of the way in this race, so why should we believe it now?
GOP insiders demand Cruz dial back if Trump wins tomorrow.
Especially if he wins by double digits, Ted Cruz has got to stop talking about a contested convention and stop talking about how he's going to beat Donald Trump.
Well, sir.
But today Cruz was confronting pro-Trump demonstrators, going all out like he did back in Iowa when Cruz beat the polls and beat Trump. I'm Steve Handelsman, NBC News, Indianapolis.
Up next, scientists from around the world gathered this afternoon with their latest strategies in combating the Zika virus. Plus, men in their 50s may be at the highest risk of getting the deadliest form of skin cancer. Stay with us.
Extend the life of your driveway or parking lot with the help from the professionals at Asphalt Recovery. Specializing in seal coating and crack seals, Asphalt Recovery is the one to call when you want the job done right the first time. I built my business on hard work and dedication to quality. Call me today for your free estimate. Asphalt Recovery. Seal coating, crack sealing, and paving. Experience you can trust.
Patio world, style and elegance for the good life.
Celebrating 40 years.
When you need to know at the Carpet Pros, I-N-J, the Carpet Pros, I-N-J, the Carpet Pros, I-N-J.
Okay, everyone, last looks. Roll audio, please. Audio speed. Roll camera, please. 1 speed. Camera 2 speeding. 3 is speeding. Okay, when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Compassion, experience, recovery. Reach us day or night at bestcaretreatment.org.
News Channel 21 is brought to you in part by High Desert Aggregate and Paving.
Today's health news brought to you by Airlink, proud sponsor of FireMed.
While sunbathing and tanning beds tend to be associated most often with young women, the typical patient with the deadliest form of skin cancer, melanoma, is a man in his 50s. Health reporter Erica Edwards has more.
Sunburns were a natural part of summer for many who grew up in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. The same was true for Tom Kasumpis, who spent his summer days as a young man out on the water sailing.
Clearly, my days in the sun had a negative impact.
Tom was diagnosed with melanoma, the deadliest skin cancer, at age 53.
Most guys aren't thinking about that, and particularly older guys like myself who love being in the sun and never wore hats and never wore sunscreen.
This new ad campaign from the American Academy of Dermatology uses humor to target men in their 50s, in turn, who are at higher risk for developing melanoma than the general population.
They're not as aware of the fact that, there's no such thing as a healthy tan, or there's no such thing as a base tan that's good for you.
After surgery and an experimental immunotherapy, Tom is now cancer-free. He encourages his fellow men to take control of their health and see a dermatologist for yearly screenings. Erica Edwards, NBC News.
Scientists from the United States, Europe, Brazil, they're all gathering at Emory University in Atlanta today to discuss Zika. The conference will look at the current and future strategies to minimize the spread and impact the infection, including the development of a vaccine. Experts will also educate doctors to better understand the biology behind Zika and look at ways to manage infection. A public briefing of the meeting's findings is expected to take place later on this week. All right, up next, Emily's back with your full weather forecast, plus our favorite canine crossing one more item off her bucket list. We reintroduce you to Matt next.
You can't quantify mystery or do an audit on amazement. And while you can't put a dollar amount on wonder, the best we can do is try. It's why millions of dollars from our lottery support Oregon state parks. But despite all that we give, it pales in comparison to what we get back. Lottery games are based on chance and should be played for entertainment only.
German Mastertech is Ben's only repair shop that speaks fluent Porsche, Mercedes, Audi, BMW, and Volkswagen. So the next time your German car needs a little Wiederinstandsetzung and Ermunterung, come see us. German Mastertech. We speak German. Cars.
For comprehensive, compassionate help for skin conditions, trust Ben Dermatology and DermaSpa to provide the most advanced techniques and expert care. When faced with the challenges of skin cancer, it is important to know all of your treatment options. Talk to Ben Dermatology about Mohs surgery, a very precise, minimally invasive, and effective treatment for skin cancer. To find out more about this and other state-of-the-art treatment options, go to benderm.com. Ben Dermatology, serving the skincare needs of Central Oregon for over 3 decades.
You don't need to speak German to understand the engineering that goes into your Porsche, Mercedes, Audi, BMW, or Volkswagen. That's where we come in. German Mastertech. We speak German. Cars.
KTVZ.com is the home of News Channel 21 on the web. Get the latest breaking news, local, national, and world news. Your current local weather forecast. KTVZ.com. Today's news, today. When news happens, KTVZ.com is your source for the latest information. Everywhere you need us to be, anytime from anywhere. News Channel 21 at KTVZ.com is Central Oregon's online news leader.
Beloved Humane Society pup Maddie checked one more item off her bucket list this afternoon. Maddie only has limited days left to live as 2 large cancerous masses are in her liver and her kidneys have failed. So she and her biggest fans, including her owner, Lynn Ochita, with the Humane Society, are on a mission to complete as much of her bucket list items as possible, including taking her on a little motorcycle ride. By the looks of it, she absolutely loved it too. We are absolutely rooting for you here, Maddie. And we've done stories on little Maddie before. Arcandra Kent went to the skies with her, so she's doing planes, trains, automobiles. She's checking everything off the list.
Yeah, Maddie's having a crazy time. Good for her.
Yeah. So she's going to be enjoying some nice weather this week?
She will, yeah. We're looking at nice weather ahead. For the next few days, we'll see some showers move through. But by this weekend, also some nice weather out there for moms. Temperatures upper 70s, nice and warm. Plenty of sunshine. Hope we can keep it for them.
Yes, let's hope that temperature stays the same on Saturday.
Right.
She's Emily Kirk. I'm Dan McCarthy. Thanks for joining us. Good night, everyone.
Soak in the real Central Oregon lifestyle. Marquee Hot Tubs. Made in Oregon, sold at Fireside. Visit Fireside to learn how Oregon-made Marquee Hot Tubs complement your lifestyle. Fireside in Bend and online at Bend Fireside.